So listen, and especially to the guys, especially, I want you to pay a close attention to this. There's a trick happening to you and you don't know it. And now I want to make you aware of it. Over the last, I guess, 60 years or so, give or take, the enemies of God, the enemies of good, have been encouraging you to not do trades anymore. They got rid of the trade schools for the most part, and they've encouraged you, you should go to college. You're not going to make it unless you have a college degree. I kind of remember when that mess started. But you need a college degree. You're not going to. They used to say you need a high school degree, and then people fell for that, and they said, well, if you don't get a high school degree, you need to get a GED. GED, convincing you that just to get out and work on your own and do what you need to do, you can do well in life. You don't need a dumb piece of paper for $100,000. And so they've told you over and over that you need to go to college to make it in life. That's a lie, a bald-faced lie. It's not true. And if you notice the people who have gone to college and are coming out and are going to college, they're coming out dumber than ever. Dumber than a doorknob. They ain't got no sense. While the trades are disappearing and people are suffering. And then they take college courses that they don't even have jobs in them. There are no jobs called that. They had to even make up, when they started teaching this hate thing, critical race theory thing, then they start making up people who can teach you about critical race, and they created some department called that, giving away your money. College is not the answer. A trade is the answer in a logical way of earning a living while you live here on earth. You got to earn a living while you live on earth, right? So I want to encourage you to stop spending your money on these dumb colleges and get yourself a trade. And you'll be able to always have food on your table and money in your pocket. And you would not have spent all that money. And now you got to give the government all that money and you come out a dummy. A dummy. A dummy. Stop it. I want to encourage you, and guys, you need to start a business, at least get a job, save 10% of your money, and live off the rest. Put your money away for opportunity. Buy yourself some land. Buy a house. Start out small, it will work for you. It really, I promise you that, if you do it. And you do it with an open mind, a clear mind. So get a trade. Stop going to colleges. It's dumb. We did a story the other day where these female counselors, I believe, I could be wrong, I don't remember the whole thing, they're offering people drugs. Now they started giving you, what was that, Sean? Female therapists are taking psychedelics. We did a story on that. Oh, but they have a degree on an ego trip and taking psychedelics and offering that to the patient. Well, I guess they call them patient, whatever they are. So instead of going to college, get a trade. Stay out of debt and get a job. Get a job. Shout out to get a job. This is from Mike Rowe. Mike Rowe from Dirty Jobs talking about student loan debts. Mike Rowe from Dirty Job talking about student loan debt. This is from Reason. Watch this.
You know, a good welder right now can pretty much write his or her own ticket. Companies like Caterpillar, Bechtel, you can go down the list. They have had open shortages for decades. And so, I talked to a kid the other day up in Butler, North Dakota. So it's Butler, right? It's cold, but he works on heavy equipment up there. And over $100 an hour, work when he wants, paid for his house in cash, raising a family, no debt. Is it better right now today to have 140,000 in debt, but a degree from Georgetown in law? Or is it better to be that kid I described up in Butler? If we're lending money that ostensibly we don't have to kids who really have no hope of paying it back in order to train them for jobs that clearly don't exist, I might suggest that, we've gone around the bend a little bit.
Amazing. See why we need men to run things? Most men would run it, except for the weak men today, logically, in a logic manner. When I was growing up, to get a trade, either you were taught by your parents a trade, with your father or grandfather or whatever, or you went to a trade school and learned a trade. You didn't get in debt. You did not get in debt. And the traders, the enemies of good, the enemies of God know that, and that's why they got rid of trades and brought this phony idea of a college education. And now people with degrees run around thinking they're smart, dumber than a doorknob. They couldn't find their way out of a paper bag. Get a trade, guys. Learn a trade. Really. And you'll be able to start a business. So many things you can do with a trade. It was a big lie. College degree doesn't mean a thing. And now you got these dummies wanting you to pay their loan. They're so silly, they're up there fighting and angry because they want you to pay their loan that they got into trying to get a so-called college degree. You got to use common sense if you want to live. You must come back to common sense. This is from the Federalists. As a matter of fact, Mike Rowe is absolutely right when you talked about get a trade. When I was growing up, my folks, my father, my grandfather, they had trades. And they did very well. They did very well. The Federalist, this is from the Federalist. The average federal student loan interest rate is 6.36%. 6.36%. Can you be any dumber than that? Over a stupid piece of paper, the only thing it does is build your ego and put you in debt. The average federal student loan interest rate is 6.36%. High school students should consider their future and weigh all the options. Should I get a trade or should I go to some dumb college? It doesn't matter the name of the college, it's still dumb. So high school students should consider their future and weigh all the options. Equipment operators, surveyors, carpenters, electricians, plumbers, welders, and masons can fill important roles in building communities across the nation and address the need for certified professionals with technical skills. That's the American way. To have a trade is the American way. To have a skill, not a dumb degree. Americans are not working with people who have degrees. Open your eyes and look at what is happening to the country, and it's coming from those who have degrees. It's messed up. Nothing is working. So guys, if you want a practical life of earning your way in a practical way, get a trade. You cannot and will not go wrong. And you will have control of your own life and will not be in debt. That is the American way. But you go to college, you're going to end up in debt. 90% of apprentices find jobs when they have finished their training. 90% find jobs when they finish their training, but not when you go to college. How come you let them fool you to believe college was important? How? Why? Get a trade. And guys, let the women go to college. You get a trade. You will have control of your own life. You won't have to move in with her. You won't have to ride in the woman's seat in the car. You won't have to bow down to mama and worship her. She'll be subject to you. Get a trade. I'm telling you, get a trade. Work with your hand. The scripture says, work with your hand, you're going to have food on your table. You don't have to worry about it. Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, he's talking about being an entrepreneur. This is from CNBC. Watch this.
Roofers, construction, home building. There's so much demand for this that people often overlook them, saying, I'm going to poo-poo that career. Why? You can get rich there a lot faster than getting a history major. I don't want to poo-poo on the arts because everybody sends me emails about it. But the truth is, there's a lot of historians that are starving. Looking at trade schools, I really like two broad categories: electricians and plumbers. Every single building on earth wants to have electricity and plumbing working. And you can also be an entrepreneur in those spaces. You can start to build out plumbing franchises by hiring other plumbers and booking them out to jobs, or other electrical engineers or electrical contractors. You can book them out. You can become the head of a company that provides those services. It's a great career. Find something where people spend on it every single day. These are careers that actually can help you provide for your family forever.
Wow. I forgot about those good old days. And I remember when men, growing up, we were encouraged to become entrepreneur, to start a business, get a trade, and that you would be fine. And that's so true. When I was growing up, my father had businesses. I remember he worked at the steel mill up there in Indiana for a minute. Then he started a cleaning company, cleaner, clothes company. And then he started a motorcycle company. He sold and repaired motorcycles. Then he started, he finally had his own church. Then he started where you build houses and things like that, contracting company. He would take old houses and rebuild them and sell them, bought some for himself and rent them out, all kinds of things. And he was just fine. Guys, get a trade. Let the girls go to college. That's a girly thing to do. But you get a trade and do the manly thing. Give it a try. You will not regret it. I can't tell you the number of guys that since I started Bond in 33 years, I've told, start a business. Do your own thing. And they're doing very well. Get a trade. They've done it, and they're doing very well. They're not in debt. Let the girls go to college, and you get a trade. And you'll be in control of your own life. Think about it. I really, really want to encourage it. And anywhere in the world you go, you're going to be able to get a job. But with a little stupid little piece of paper, expensive paper from college, you ain't going to get nothing but a headache.